Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 324. Jason Chandler, AMD Auto Metal Direct, coming at you. Here we go.
That's kind of where we've been pushing forward to try and get as close as original possible when we develop parts. Is it perfect? No. Was it perfect original? No. But we try to make adjustments where if you're just a guy building a truck in your garage and you just want to bolt on a fender, it's as easy as it could be for you.
Damn, son.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Post is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-to-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man, he's a television repairman, got the ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wedge.
Here we go. 324 with Jason Chandler. Rad people in the scene, man. It was really good to get to know Jason, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Of course, I'd love to do a longer intro, but I'm behind on this one as well. I just feel like I had some editing to clean up on my end, and I want to get it out. So rather than come up with some different shows and some different stuff to share, I'm just going to get this one going. So lucky for you, not a long intro. I've got some great pod coming. I've really scheduled out probably the next 5 to 6 episodes. I've had a couple people hit me up on the Ben Napier. I'll get into why that one just kind of fell off the radar, but I will get that one out. Give me a couple weeks, and I'd like to just get caught up. So post SEMA, post Get Down, post everything else. I'm trying to get everything in line and order. Obviously, we've got the reunion like 6 weeks away, so a lot going on there, but the pod will continue to come out and kick some butt. So great guests around the corner, and this is one of them. So Jason, thanks again. AMD Auto Metal Direct, everything you guys do, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, stay out of trouble. Do what you do. Late. All right. C10 Nation coming at you. We got Jason Chandler, AMD Auto Metal Direct. Jay, you guys are killing it nonstop, 24/7, AMD. I just got an email last night. I got all the update. I got Harrison doing some door installs. I got new videos, new tech. How in the hell are you doing, my brother?
Man, I am fantastic. Really appreciate you having us. C10 Talk, big fans, long time. Catch every pod, mowing the grass, working the garage. Hell yeah.
Long-time listener, first-time caller, comes
exactly.
in 5'10", 220 pounds of pure American muscle with the hustle. And you notice we didn't talk about Eddie, 6'2", and yeah, we're not even going to go there.
The gorilla.
Man. The gorilla.
Yeah.
One bad knee. Okay, so he's got 2 bad knees.
2 bad knees.
Oh
yeah.
man, poor Ed. We're going to talk about Ed, and we're going to be. We'll be nice, Ed. We'll be nice. Yeah, so you guys are on fire right now. I mean, I think AMD is absolutely setting the pace and the model for coming in and just pushing it from the media perspective. It's not only that you are really providing the community like state-of-the-art parts nonstop, pushing the envelope, but you're letting us know about it in a new format of way. So whoever is the head of marketing and media marketing is really, you guys are having some good meetings, and how does that all happen? What's a media marketing team look like over at AMD?
It's really a skeleton crew.
No way.
Dude.
No way.
We've got so maybe for us, what we're doing, 5-6 people plus some key influencers and some outside help.
Yeah, I did.
That's the biggest
it's funny
thing.
that you said that, the influencer. I just saw something where a media company said, hey, instead of paying like a bigger conglomerate of whether it's commercials or something like that. They're like, hey, we're going to take this money and we're going to put it out to influencers. And I just feel like when you say a skeleton crew, I just feel like it's crazy because I look at other companies, right? We all buy parts. We know who different companies are. And
Right.
and honestly, I'll give you a perfect example. Brothers was I feel like kind of led the way on their quarterly kind of a coupon update, and then we would see their ads, and we would see YouTube videos. I feel like you guys have filled that void. And for Holly, who bought Brothers, I'm not sure really at what their level is I do see a drop off there. So I feel like you guys, AMD, has really taken that void, stepped into that void, and is doing a really good job. So if you feel like it's a skeleton crew, let me tell you that when you guys have your next meeting, you guys are kicking ass. I really do think that. I'm not just saying that.
Thanks,
I feel like AMD is pretty much everywhere we look. So whatever you are doing, it's working.
We're trying. I mean, we're really pushing this year. Last year is the educational side, the next generation side. And that's where you see Kevin Tate's our brand ambassador. He's pushing the education. He's pushing how to, not only with his platform, but with our stuff. And it's pretty cool.
Well, and I think Harrison's doing a good job, right? Harrison Hot Rods. He comes in. You guys have a really good mix, and I think getting out to the shows. I know at Dino's in November, Candy's out working it, doing what she does, and she's just a great addition. Very knowledgeable. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about.
Yep.
She's got the look, the vibe, the style. Yeah, really, you guys are killing it.
Yeah, it really boils down for us is like partnerships. Like with Harrison, he's been doing magazine tech articles, doing videos, doing his thing, and coming off the fire department, he's going full speed 2026.
Yeah. Recently retired. Appreciate your service.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so before we get, I think we could easily just get crazy on all Auto Metal Direct AMD stuff. Tell us a little bit about who Jason Chandler is and how did you get to where you are?
Oh, how did I get here? I think it was just dumb luck. So if I'm thinking about it, back in high school, we were kind of talking about this a little bit before. I moved down to Atlanta area after my mother had passed. My dad died when I was early. My mom died when I was early. So I went to live with my aunt in Atlanta.
Like, how old are you?
I'm 14, 15.
Oh man, sorry to hear that. That's crazy.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But that kind of led me into friends I was trying to meet in the new area. And I kind of clicked with these guys that were into dirt track racing, mini trucks, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I got my start.
So mom and dad pass separate. Got to be crazy. And for the audience, we were just talking about that. My dad died when I was 8. And then my mom obviously was still alive, and she is today. But I didn't know that about you, to have both parents pass. And then is the aunt down in Hotlanta, and that's how you kind of work your way down south?
Yep, that's exactly right. I was living in Tennessee, so I went to middle school and first year of high school. I went to Gatlinburg Pittman High School. Had both my parents passed. Then I moved into my aunt's house in Atlanta.
Wow, that's a tough time. I moved when I was 7th grade, 12, 13, right on the cusp there. So you moving at that 14, yeah, that's a tough time. You're trying to make new friends, and so pretty crazy to look back. So your aunt takes you in. Is it just you, or do you have some siblings?
No, it's me and my brother. My brother, he's 2 years younger. And he took it a little different. I was kind of like head down, going to school, doing my thing. And we're starting to adjust to the new situation. He was acting out a little more, getting in trouble in school. And I went into, like a work program, and he went to the military.
Is he doing good now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's good because
Yeah.
for a lot of families, when that happens, kids, especially young men, can really get off the track. So good that he found that in the military, and he's still doing good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, we both went through some like hell-raising phases, but really, it could have gone a lot worse. So we're pretty fortunate the way it turned out.
That's good. Good to hear. Okay, so you get into some folks there, some dirt track, and some different influencers. How do you end up? Kind of what's the cycle? Do you get into mini trucks? You get into trucks, cars, A bodies, and how do you end up over at AMD?
So I was in a mini truck club. Had a little Nissan hardbody.
What year?
It was 95.
Okay.
That was my fourth Nissan hardbody.
Nice.
That was the one I started fixing up. Got talking to some guys at a cruise in, and he's like, man, you should come work for this company. So I went and worked for this company called Audubon Wholesale. They did lift kits, lowering kits, Boyd wheels, the tonneau covers, that kind of stuff, mail order.
And this is like late 90s?
This would have been early 2000.
Okay. Yep. So you're mail order, Audubon Wholesale, you're like loving life. I got my hard body. It's 6 years old, and I'm going to fix it up, and I'm meeting some people in the scene.
Meet some people in the scene. Long story short, I go from there to Godfathers. Godfather Customs, they're a big name in the same kind of scene back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember a magazine that didn't have some Godfathers in it, especially trucking.
No kidding. And if you remember those ads, there towards the end of my time at Godfathers, I was doing those 20-page layouts.
So
kind of got into graphic design and stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Go ahead.
And had a little hiatus after Godfathers. With that boat companies before, he called me up New Year's Eve one year, and that's 8 years ago now. I've been at AMD ever since.
So you broke up a little bit, but so let's go back. You are working at Godfathers. Are you a layout specialist? Is this like OJT where I'm learning as I go? Hey, they're sending me some classes. I'm getting into graphic design and learning layout, or kind of how'd that take place?
No, my friend that called me up, he basically was like, if you want to learn this, here's Microsoft Paint. Here's Adobe Photoshop. And I was just playing around with it. And I was really working sales, internet information, that kind of stuff. And just naturally picked it up.
Which is cool because you'd almost think maybe the other way where somebody might go in with the graphic design background, pick up more into sales and internet. So you having that experience, your employer's dream, right? He can do layout. He knows sales. He's been in the industry, and look at where you are now.
It really paid off, kind of learning how to figure what I need to figure out when I need to figure it out.
Well, it's cool. It's by accident in theory. Like, hey, I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to hustle. I just started learning this stuff. I think I've got it made, right? I've got my Nissan, and you probably don't even have Nissan anymore at this point. You're learning Adobe, Photoshop. You're learning all these different things, and you're just a young kid having a good time. And then next thing you know, you're like, hey, this is planting my seed for future careers, and whether you even realize it or not. Yeah,
and I continue that today, like the stuff I'm doing with AI. And, I was never a videographer. I would never edited videos. I just learned it to do what I'm doing now. And it's always been my thing.
So what when you look back 8 years ago, you're at Auto Metal Direct, you are a young guy who goes in there, what does that look like then versus now?
Oh, it's night and day difference. So when I started AMD, they were using a marketing service, and they kind of hired me to work on their website. So I started off, I had a pallet. I lined it with white paper. I hit the damn warehouse and started taking pictures. Like, we're going to show people what the product actually looks like. So kind of setting that foundation of AMD has quality pictures and setting the mindset that when somebody goes to a website, they see a quality product that matches the name.
Well, I mean, when you, at that point, you think about it, I mean, now granted, 8 years ago, let's just say 10 or whatever, but having that quality, it might, I mean, I feel like it can separate you where people are getting on the internet, they want to see it, and we're in that social media transition at that point. So people are really wanting to see it. It's that like, hey, is this the right part? And then now we're almost inundated with too much stuff. So somebody, I assume, is going to gravitate towards the crisp and clean and no caffeine, and you're part of that. Do you feel over the time of 8 years, 10 years, that the transition, if I got onto an AMD and I searched a part, could I find an original 8-year-old Jason Chandler picture?
Yeah.
They're still on there.
Still on there.
That's pretty cool.
So you think about it, like if AMD keeps growing our parts list and our offering list, we're still catching up on trying to do new quality product photos of stuff that I did back in the day, stuff that I've never even touched. And when we did this building, it's 5-6 years ago, whatever it is, I have a whole photo studio. I do 360 images every product. We pull it off the shelf, put it on the ordering system, and what you see on that website is right off the shelf. There's no CGI, and it's a 360. So if you need to look at that hood and you're like, is that cowl actually functional? Does it let heat out? You can spin it and see that.
Again, revolutionary 8-10 years ago, and now you're marching with the times because people want to see that. They want to touch it, feel it, break it down. And to be a warehouse in Hotlanta, it's not going to happen, right? But you're doing the best that you can with what you can. And I do feel like we talked a little bit about Kevin and being like that brand ambassador, but people want to see videos. They want to see social media. They want to know, and you're competing for that to get them to buy or wholesale or however they can from Auto Metal Direct.
Right.
So,
and we don't want to, like, that's part of like our social media strategy is not to date people with, look at our new product, come buy it. We much more feel like a community.
How do you balance that though? To me, you're sitting in your Monday meeting and you're like, hey, we've got, I mean, it's almost like too good to be true. You have where some people might not have content to put out all the time or every day. I feel like with new products and then as big as you are, how do you balance whether that's the A bodies versus the C10s and then the generations of C10s and the OBS trucks, and you guys are big, right? So there's a lot of different categories of parts, cars, trucks. How does that look and balance out? And is there different people who are more of a specialist for a Dodge Mopar style part versus a Chevy A body versus a C10?
Right. It's a juggling act, but we base it on, like, if I'm posting something on Facebook, that's going to be more Mopar heavy. If I'm on Instagram, that's more GM truck heavy.
Because that's where the audience is.
If I'm on TikTok, it's everybody. Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. The Facebook is that's funny. I could see that where they're more. I see the Ford guys and the Dodge guys are more Facebook and social media. Instagram is definitely C10 heavy.
Yeah.
It's funny that it kind of evolves that way. So that's a unique perspective. What else do you see from that perspective when you look at your brands and the way? I got to feel like that's more challenging. You're like, God dang it! Where do I push this out? How do I, a big erase board, a dry erase board, and you're like, okay, I've got this part, I've got to push it here. I've got this part, and I'll tell you why. I felt like you guys were so heavy, square body, but the audience realized there's also a decent number of parts cataloged for 67 to 72 as well. But I feel like for a while there, you guys were very heavy square body. marketing, and now I see a decent amount of 67 to 72 and OBS as well.
Yeah, and that's really defined by the development schedule. So we started Square Body 7 years ago, and we're still developing parts for that. But we have heavy development in that's pushing out. Now we're retooling all the 67, 72 stuff. So you're going to start seeing like the new kick panels, the new A-pillars, the new upper cowl, lower cowl, that kind of stuff coming in. Like soon we should see the back cabs, small window, big window. All that's new tooling for AMD.
I don't think anybody's going to want small window, but let's go with it. I mean, maybe there's a lot of small. There's a lot of small window cabs out there, but I know there's people that want small windows. Not that many, but they are out there for sure. So that's cool that you guys are looking into all that.
Yeah.
When you kind of break down, so you look at your history and you look at your evolution there, what would you say has probably been one of the biggest challenges across multiple brands, multiple, switching locations, and how many different hats that you wear being there? Because even though you say it's a small team, compliments, you make it look easy. You guys do. You guys do a really good job. Again, I've said it because it's true. From where I'm sitting to where I see AMD's kicking ass on their media, their marketing, and really their products.
It's really been, like you get something new and you're like, oh my God, I got to do something with this, and you don't have the team to do it as to the level you want. So we've been slowly adding. That's been the biggest challenge. But like bringing on Eddie, bringing on Amanda, does all of our video editing. Having Dan and Brian that do our catalogs and SEO. I've got Tony in here that's doing the product photos now. It's growing. And then all the outside stuff you see where we've got Harrison and Candy and John Fools and everybody that's being a part of it.
Don't forget about Kyle. We don't want to hear from him that we didn't talk about Kyle. I mean, we really don't. Nobody wants to hear that we made Kyle mad and he didn't get enough AMD love on the pod.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, where's he at, sick week or coming back from Hot Rod Power Tour? I don't know where Kyle's at, but he's out, spreading that Maryland love.
What's funny about that, be careful the way he might be spreading that Maryland love,
Get tested.
is he's got Harrison, who just retired from the fire department. I've got 3 years left, and then Kyle is, I don't know, he's probably got like 5 to 10 years left. Who knows? But yeah, so we've got a handful of these fire guys running around the city that are playing with trucks. Maybe it's just a fire guy and time off, a lot of days off, playing with trucks. I mean, it's got to be something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he's got that shop up and running, insulated, where he can actually get some work done.
Yeah, something. I mean, we've been checking it out, so we'll see how it kind of goes. When you talk about some of the tooling, the 67 to 72, for example, who sits down and says, "Hey, this is the new parts that we need to be looking at"? What do those meetings go like?
It goes a couple different ways. So it could be just feedback from customers. Hey, this product is needed. This product sucks. You need to retool it. Have we ever made this? That kind of thing.
Well, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, for the audience, I won't tell you what product, but I bitched to him about a product, and he's on it. And we had some good discussions about the product, but just to because I'm not disclosing what product, you can't get that product anymore from him. So Jason has pulled that product because they know that they have had some issues. How does that cycle through? I mean, I feel like you never want to put something out that's not to a certain level. Sometimes it's going to happen when you have, I mean, I can't even imagine how many SKUs, let alone, just in the Chevy GM world of 67 up to 99 OBS. Do you ever just have a product that, I'm trying to word it to set you up for success, but how about this, a product that just, you're getting ready and you're just like, nah, we're not, it can't go out. Vintage Air, 45 years in the business, San Antonio, Texas. Whether your build had AC or not, Vintage Air has a new and improved Gen 5 system for you and your build. Featuring OEM blend door actuators, a quiet, high-performance blower, OEM block type expansion tank, and larger 2.5-inch airflow outlets. So your heater, your defrost, and that AC will be better than ever. VintageAir.com, VintageAir.com. USA1Industries.com. Your square body source. Used them for my SEMA build. I've been pimping out their dashes for so long, 10 plus years. And people would always ask me, where's the best dash pad? USA1 Industries. USA1 Industries, without a doubt. So the team over there has been so supportive to me, my build. I get on their website, their process, it's easy, it flows. I can know what parts, and sometimes, honestly, I'm not even sure what parts I need, but when I go through the website, it kind of cues my mind, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should buy that. Oh yeah, I need that. It was extremely helpful. I got 2 large shipments when I was doing the Big Sky Bonanza build, and it saved me. It really did, to know, oh yeah, I'm glad that I ordered that. So when you're going through a big build, think USA1 Industries. Great support, fast shipping. Everything came just as I needed it to. And honestly, their packaging and their labeling was great. So I would be going through packages and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is this grommet. Oh yeah, this is this hardware. So support those guys, USA1Industries.com. They are the title sponsor of C10 Talk, and we appreciate all their support. Check them out, guys. 73 to 91, you need it. They got it. They ain't got it. You don't need it. Do you ever just have a product that, I'm trying to word it to set you up for success, but where how about this, a product that just, you're getting ready and you're just like, nah, we're not, it can't go out?
Yeah, everybody that's listening and watching this knows the square body Doris issue we've had. And that's one of those, we've fixed tooling, we've retooled, and it's not going out till it's right.
So the rumor I've heard on that is it just one door? I want to say, is it just the passenger door, or is it both sides?
It seems to be both sides.
Okay, because I think I've heard it, and it was more of a one-sided thing, and I can't recall exactly what side. But so you're working on that right now?
Working on it right now. We've been out of stock a year now. We've lost sales. We've let our competitors catch up. And that's one product that we're going to have to get it right until we re-release it.
Well, and if it's not right and it goes out, then you obviously dealt with that, and it's just, one step forward, 10 steps back, and you're just like, we got to have the best quality out there, whether or not our competitor and or competitors are catching up. We don't want to go backwards.
Right.
Well, and then there's the brand recognition as well, right? When you open a box, one thing I was telling Jason multiple times is, when I was building the SEMA build, the Blazer, I would open the box from, whomever, and 7 out of 10 times it'd be AMD stickers or products.
Right.
So sometimes you might have a company that might put their sticker or their SKU over a label, but they're still sometimes AMDs right underneath there anyways.
Yeah, that's just part of the landscape now.
Yeah. Who would you say is your biggest competitor?
Man, that's tough, because most of the people that you would think would be our competitors are good customers.
Yeah. Well,
so it's like more of a partnership. That's kind of the way I look at it, especially in the C10 market.
So
we all kind of work together.
Like LMC, would you say that's how it works with LMC, or can you disclose that?
Yeah, no, they are good. They're good partners. They're good customers, and we all use them. Yeah. AMD is not everything to everybody. I've got LMC parts on my truck.
Well, and I've heard that where some local guys that we buy from too, that they buy from everybody, and the bottom line is it's good business for you guys to be partners, and everybody doesn't have to have the exact same thing where you're like, I can buy this from them, resell it. We talked a little bit about the landscape where wholesalers will become retailers. Is it better for wholesalers to stay wholesalers so they can really focus on, like, for example, the door parts, or where do you find that balance, because your career has evolved so much, and who better to talk to about this than really you, somebody who's been in this business from, you think about it, the trucking days to now. You look at the level of social media to retail to wholesale. And for the audience, I see a lot of wholesalers who now become retailers because of what we have with the internet and the, I guess, mail order as well. I mean, Summit is such a huge retailer. Do you find that you guys have a level of, hey, we're 80% wholesale and 20% retail? How does that balance out?
Well, I was thinking about that, and if I was looking back, like when I was first in this industry, you had J.C. Whitney, you had Honest Charlie's, you had Styling Trucks, those kind of guys, and they were buying from WDs, and we bought from WDs. We'd sell it at either MSRP and make our margins. I think the difference now is kind of when that went away, a lot of those companies went under. Manufacturers had no choice but to do retail. So like McGoy's suspension used to be just wholesale, and now you can, purchase from them retail. And those kind of market adjustments kind of force people to change. And I think it's no different than now, where you have big conglomerates that'll buy up different companies. They're doing wholesale, but they're also doing retail. And I think the difference AMD has, we're actually developing new products. We do wholesale, we do retail, but we're developing and actively pushing the community forward.
Oh, without a doubt. There's no doubt about that you guys are, I mean, especially like in the OBS world right now, you guys are really cranking it forward. I mean, you guys are developing a lot of stuff, working constantly. Do you ever feel like it can't go fast enough?
Man, I tell you, it all depends. Like the development process, it takes a certain amount of time. But as soon as we put out one thing, these guys over here what about this? Well, if you're looking from their perspective, it's never fast enough.
Yeah, you got to get ahead of it, right? So you already know.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to resources and money. But, for example, a 99 to 06 NBS is going to be next in the world that we live in. And it's crazy to think about that an 07, which would be considered a classic, which I actually have an 07 classic.
Yeah.
Is coming up on 20 years this year. I bought it in 06, but it's an 07 classic either way. 20 years, and the world is already going to want to start to see parts. Now, going back, I feel like the world of the OBS, when I started OBS Talk, there was a point where the retailers would say, hey, what we're at a crossroads where we're running out of NOS parts. The catalog is shrinking, and we are waiting for the aftermarket to kind of come in to where we're at this 20-year, 25-year mark to where we can't get the aftermarket support, maybe the collision support, that's dying off, and then the restoration is what they're waiting on. So there's a 5-year, maybe a 10-year gap there where the restoration world and the NOS world, so GM's got all these parts that are sitting on a counter somewhere, and then the restoration companies, and now you're seeing that evolution. So that's something I've never really talked about, but obviously there is a 5-10 year transition there to where people are wanting those parts, and they got to get them somewhere.
Yeah, and you throw into that mix the collision parts world and the lack of quality those used to be. It's it's a moving target.
Wow, I never really thought about that when you think about the lack of quality in the collision stuff and what the customer expects in the restoration is obviously, we hope, is different, and we hope and expect a higher level.
Right. That's kind of where we've been pushing forward to try and get as close as original possible when we develop parts. Is it perfect? No. Was it perfect original? No. But we try to make adjustments where if you're just a guy building a truck in your garage and you just want to bolt on a fender, it's as easy as it could be for you.
One thing that I keep storing it in the back of my brain and I don't want to forget it is you talked a little bit about the MSRP and selling different products. One thing I feel like for the audience that can be better from a retail perspective, but what I see, so let's just say, for example, selling precision replacement parts. Hey guys, I sell precision replacement parts. I hate to even give this out, but it's obvious and it's a good discussion, is Summit just undercuts everybody. So when you look at the retail and you're like, hey, this is what should be retail within reason MSRP. Well, and I'm always telling the PRP guys, I'm like, dude, are you guys just giving like Summit the shit for free? And they're like, no, they're just taking over, right? So you have your Summits, your Jags, your Speedways, your bigger companies, and eventually I do see where it's almost hard. I don't know to where the customer falls in, but when you have your bigger wholesalers, let's say your LMDs, your AMDs and your LMCs and your classics, and then you have your bigger retails, eventually I think the middle person might be getting cut out completely. I don't know if people will rally around that and say, hey, we want to keep the mom and pop and the guy that's actually making the videos and discussing the parts and maybe they cost $7 more, but because that person creates that content or that company creates that content, they prefer that, and that's the way they're finding the products. Or if they're just like, hey, AI and Google search is going to find me the cheapest product, I'm going to get the cheapest product no matter what. And so that's I think that's an evolution for the retail person to look at and consider.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think everybody struggles with, whether you're buying parts, selling parts, or both, is who do you think of when you need that hardware kit for your grill? Are you automatically thinking, I'm going to go find the cheapest price? Or it's like, oh no, I met Ronnie, a Big Sky over at the, Resurrection. I'm ordering from him.
Yeah. Well, and the other biggest problem, and I remember talking to the guys at Brothers with this, is we are under the Amazon Prime, I need it in 3 days. Whereas in the old days, I mean, I've got magazines on top of magazines here where we would send $5 check, get a catalog, lay it all out, and I almost feel like there's a blend there where having some layout and here's your parts, here's your sheet, right, let's build it this way. But I think, unfortunately, the way that we're moving so fast that people don't necessarily always take the time, and then they're waiting for it. And I guess it depends. I don't know how much Amazon is in Atlanta, but in Phoenix, I get stuff in 2 to 3 days, where I know some places are a little more remote where maybe they don't have quite the Amazon availability. But yeah, that's, and I assume that there's a part for you guys to compete with as well.
Yeah, back in the day, I'm saying 4 or 5 years ago, we used to sell on Amazon, and it was tough and it wasn't really worth it. And there's a lot of people that I think outside of this industry that are kind of part of the scene. If they're needing something for a classic muscle car or truck, if they go on Amazon, they can find it, they'll get it quick. But if they order from us, that might be 3 to 5 days, and they're calling after 48 hours. and just trying to. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah, I think for the audience, if you take anything away from this, you can do the research. You can find parts probably cheaper, but I think stay loyal to who you got, and then I think really try and pre-plan. You'll make your life a lot less hectic. For a guy who just went through a lot of deadlines, you end up paying a little bit more for things that are a little rushed versus a little slower. So when you factor that in, I got to have it tomorrow, you're going to pay for that. When you can really lay things out. I think the other thing too is it does get exhausting when you try to, I think when I was younger and you wanted to find the cheapest Jordans or whatever, your Gerbo jeans or whatever the hell was cool at the time, your Anchor Blue. Right. You liked going to the mall and looking around and finding a discount or something like that. Or I used to do that with tires, like Discount Tire. I'm going to call 3 different tire stores. Discount Tire, you're going to beat it. And this, because I compared Chandler Tire Center and they'll beat it. Okay, now I don't care. I'm just wore out from that. It does not at all appeal to me. So sometimes you might find a cheaper, like, hey, they might have this cheaper, but this guy has this cheaper. But you're like, I just want to buy it all at once, get it, and not and check it off my list. I want to check shit off my list. That's what I want to do, and I want to make sure that it's a good, high quality product. Also, what was happening with me during the SEMA crunch, the Dino crunch, the Barrett crunch, is I would buy 2 to 3 things because I wasn't sure what was coming and if it was right. And that right could be somewhat on me. Right. That right could be somewhat on who I'm ordering it from, to make sure and really cover your ass and your asset. So make sure, for the audience, take the time, talk to people, know what's good, and order accordingly with time, because I gave my powder coater one of those signs that said, an emergency on your end doesn't poor planning on your end does not necessitate an emergency on my end, because I would call my powder coater nonstop. Dude, I need this. And we kind of joked about that. So I gave him one of them signs that said, poor planning on your end does not necessitate an emergency on my end. So make sure you're taking your time to build accordingly. What would you recommend for a guy who's built trucks, sells parts? What's your advice to the audience from that perspective of the planning and the laying things out?
I mean, I think you've got a great idea where if you pre-plan it, here's a list of what I'm doing for this. And like talking about Candy, she just came out of a build book. Get it on Amazon, plan out what you want to do your research, talk to who you need to talk to, and make each step happen. You'll save time, money, all that stuff. I mean, if I wasn't on the road so much, I would probably have my truck done. But
yeah, you are on the road a lot. You do travel. What would you say is your favorite part of that, of being able to be so, be traveled and see the different? I feel like we could talk about what you see out in the world, and then what you see inside from the perspective of, you think about the knowledge that you have from what's moving every day, every quarter, what's popular at AMD, whether that's muscle cars, A-bodies, C10s, going through G-body. And then, hey, here's what I see out in the world, and the ability to take in the people, the culture, the parts, and the scene. You've got a lot going on through that just gorgeous looking head of yours.
Oof, I tell you, pants are getting tight. Now watch out. So really, my favorite thing, the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler.
I've heard that. Yeah.
You've heard that once or twice.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's why we love the truck community so much. It is absolutely the best. With the new documentary coming out, with the stuff we've been doing across the country, we really love and support the truck community.
And for the audience, I'll see if I can get this out like today. I do have Ryan scheduled as well, but he's talking a little bit about the Dino's Get Down, the untold story, really kind of looking back. You think about 15 years of the Get Down and what we've been able to accomplish, and Dino and his crew, and we're all part of that. We've heard it so many times on the pod. The Corvette guys might not be that cool. The Camaro guys, the Chevelle guys, the Mopar guys. I love the Mopar guys, but man, they beat their own drum, and I love that for them. But we are lucky that we have what we have in the community. You've heard me say it multiple times. Don't look back and say, I wish I would have realized we were in a movement and you would have enjoyed it better. I mean, just enjoy it while it lasts, and time will evolve. We're evolving at all times,
right.
But we're lucky. We're lucky. And you are probably, I'd have to think about who might be more well-traveled from coast to coast, because I would love to get out to some of the different things, but you've got your Atlanta crew, you've got, SQRBDY, you've got Richard Cheese, you've got Robbie, you've got the crew at the Fall Revival with obviously Benny, Lou, and Big Case. Love those guys. So you're pretty well traveled, and you think about the world that you live in, and then you get to come out west too. So we do have different sects of geography, but what would you, is there any different there, or is there any difference, or would you just like styles, or, I used to think like LST was Houston and Big Lip and the styles, but I feel like we're evolving into one. What would your assessment be for somebody who really sees a lot?
Honestly, I'd like to get some more stuff where we're going to Washington State, going to Oregon, C10s on the Capitol, and going through California. It's a big expense for us. But looking at it, going to Dino's and what all of you guys have built there, and have inspired events like C10 Revival. And I just caught the pod with those guys with Robbie. And growing these events to where it inspires other people to do their stuff. And then like Brett up in Southern Illinois Truck Showdown. And then Mike Brooks up in New York.
Yeah, Big Mike,
and
C10 Club New York. I call it the SITS, the Southern Illinois Truck Show.
The SITS.
The SITS. But we're pretty lucky to think, that we used to have like 4 shows, and there were, so take out the good guys, and you didn't have the truck exclusive. Now, I've never been to Carlisle. Do you ever go up to the Carlisle, or I guess it's Pennsylvania, so it is up for you. But so, do you ever go up to any Carlisle stuff?
I've been to Carlisle once. I'm going again this year for some of my SEMA ARMO Council obligations for their spring Carlisle event.
And for the audience, if you don't know what Carlisle, I assume you've heard of it, but man, Carlisle has everything. They have trucks, Mopar, they have different events nonstop. So I think that the Carlisle events are very, they're, I don't know if I'd say broad, but they have multiple different events to go to at all times. And we even hear about a lot of Ford stuff. Tennessee is huge. You obviously your home state. You get the Knoxville guys. There's a lot of Ford stuff out there. I don't see quite the Ford influence that I see that I do see out in Tennessee or out east versus maybe west. I think they're trying to push more stuff. I think it's there's a Ford in California. There's a, why am I drawing a blank? But there's a bit West Coast Nationals, I think they call it. So Carla, I mean, I don't want to be oblivious to what the other truck shows have. I think a Good Guys is still kicking ass. Columbus is like the world's biggest show. What do you have? What is the Cars of the 50s or something in Minnesota? Do you know what that one's? Yeah,
that's the one Tom and those guys put on. It's Back to the 50s.
Back to the 50s, that's what it is.
We've been to that, but talking about the Ford truck shows, I think you're right. You got Solomon down at Beach Bonanza. You got the Pigeon Forge show. I think it's starting to grow, but it's not the same, not there yet.
Yeah. I think that again, we're lucky. You get to see a lot. You get to see a little bit of everything in the world. When you look at SKUs and numbers, where do you see? Give me something that you're blown away by that sells so much better than you thought it would, or does. Whether that's trucks or cars or whatever, because there's no lying when you look at numbers. Like, a lot of times we hear the square bodies sell the most, or maybe the Mustangs or whatever it is. What do you guys see that's leaving the warehouse? Just you can't ship them out fast enough.
I don't know if this will be a surprise to most of C10 Talk listeners. 69 Camaro is still our number one product line.
That's awesome. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. We've got guys that are on their third or fourth restoration. They're redoing from 10, 15 years ago, and it's still the strongest vehicle lineup we have.
Yeah, I would say that is surprising. I would think it would be in the top 3, I do feel like you'll see more 67 to 72 stuff kick up as your catalog continues to evolve with that. I'm sure OBS, if you looked at stock market perspective and you looked at, uptick as those become more restored. But that is kind of crazy to think that somebody could have one car and be on a second or third restoration of that car.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then, number 2 is 68 Camaro. Then 69 Charger.
That's crazy.
And then Chevelle.
Yeah. What's the number 1 Chevelle? Like a 70?
For us, it's a 69.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's the
dual
first
headlight,
of that.
pretty cool.
Yeah. What about 66 versus 67 Chevelle? Do you offer the 66 front clip, and do people buy that and switch over their 67s?
I don't get a lot of swap over, and there's some of those goofy parts where AMD never developed this 1 year side marker, whatever it is. And we'll have some people that'll request that, but I think it's developed out there. We may not do that, but 66, 67s, it's up there.
Yeah. And 69, I mean, Charger, right? You said Charger?
Charger, yeah.
Yeah. So the Charger is, I could see that being top. I don't know that I would think a truck would be in there eventually, but I don't doubt.
Top 10 for sure.
I don't doubt that the truck, that once you do have a truck, it's going to be a Chevrolet versus obviously, a Ford or something like that. And that's just pure numbers. You've heard me say it multiple times on the pod. Those guys get mad at us because we can build a damn truck out of a catalog. We really can.
Yeah. Looking at Rockford and the Spirit of 76 build.
Yeah.
That was literally ground up from scratch.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. We've got him scheduled as well coming up, so that'll be a good discussion about how you can do that if you choose to do that, and whether or not you even need a donor anymore or what's available. And going back to that muscle car era, and you think about that, when you look at what you're selling, what are you selling? Is it mostly full bodies, tubs? Is it small parts? When you look at what's the bigger ticket items that you have and that you sell? Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's PSIconversion.com. Have you guys heard of Doja Mat? Retro mats done right. You know those classic floor mats we all grew up with? Well, Doja Mat has created that same classic style with all of your favorite slogans. Dent side, bowl nose, 4x4, high boy, bump side, truckin', with the horns of course, and so much more. Check them out at dojamat.com. That's DOJAMAT.com. Dojamat.com. Retro mats done right. You've heard me talk about my gauges. Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine,
They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
When you look at what you're selling, what are you selling? Is it mostly full bodies, tubs? Is it small parts? When you look at what's the bigger ticket items that you have and that you sell?
Sheet metal's still number one. And people just it's all across the board. As much as you guys see us in the C10 market, the GM car, muscle cars is still, half of our business.
I remember United Pacific saying, now for the audience, that's who, when I'm going to SEMA, we're going with UP, and they said they're big trucks. Now they're a big semi entity, and they said, hey, that's like 75% of what we sell. We don't sell. All the other stuff that you guys think is 25%, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. So that's how you keep the lights on. We all think our world revolves around the C10 world, but you're like, dude, it does. It doesn't. We just might like that the most, and you guys obviously, because we see you, Eddie, Candy, so many of you guys, but you're like, hey, we're keeping the lights on. We have this humongous warehouse because we're selling a lot of these muscle car bodies and sheet metals. And speaking about warehouse, oh my God, your guys' warehouse, so big. How big?
Yeah. So this one is 328,000 square feet, something like that. The one we just finished across the road is 230. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And it's just keeping track of parts nonstop. I mean, it's got to be how many warehouse employees and shipping and receiving. I mean, what? Give us I got to think it's just huge. Just the amount of people that are running that thing and making it look smooth. When I order my parts, I don't think I've ever had to wait more than a week to get them from you guys.
Yeah, they have some hiccups during like some big sales, but other than that, they're on it. They're probably, between day shift, night shift, there's probably 100 guys.
So you do run 2 shifts?
Yep.
Almost have to, right?
Yeah, between like say Ronnie places an order on our website, hits process, in stock items go right to the warehouse. They're coming in, they're picking, packing, putting it on the FedEx truck. Second shift comes in, they're fulfilling all of our large orders. Like Chris and not Chris, LS Fab, they're AMD dealers. They've got a huge shipment going up.
Yeah.
So second shift handles that kind of stuff.
You bring up a good point. I feel like, and I've told these guys at LMC this, I'm like, I love getting your parts. I just don't want to pay for the shipping. So I don't know if it's because everything's coming out of Kansas or why, but I feel like their shipping is a little heavy. Do you guys constantly, whoever's running that FedEx account over there has got to just be, working nonstop to try to negotiate those prices. I'm not saying that's anything that you have a specialty of, but what do you know about that?
I know that they are regularly in communications with FedEx. They don't really ship a whole lot from AMD, UPS, or U.S. Mail.
Yeah. Well, I think everything that's big goes out with a UPS or a FedEx. Obviously, if it goes overseas, it's DHL. Seems like it is. And then something small for the audience. I mean, if it's a hat, a shirt, screws, USPS can be a little cheaper. And I've had it where I need to ship something, I buy it on Amazon, and I just say, you deliver it. Because by the time I try to ship it through UPS or USPS, it's more money.
Right.
Yeah.
And who knows? They'll say it's going to be delivered on Friday, and you might get it 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, and that's out of your control. And unfortunately, the audience, to me, it's like, again, your poor planning doesn't necessitate an emergency on my end. You could always pay that second day air, which is just astronomical. But once it leaves the warehouse, I can only do what I can do. And
right.
I've had that where we've had, from the Doja Map perspective, we've had stuff that just people are like, yeah, shit, it didn't show up. And you're like, well, it says it showed up. And you're like, well, that's why we have insurance on stuff. And we've sent stuff. So I can only imagine the shipping and handling and the nightmare that happens if you're the shipping manager at AMD and the amount of SKUs and parts that go out on a daily basis.
Oh yeah. And it works, with the large stuff. Like if you're shipping a hood, if I'm shipping it to Ronnie out there in Arizona, it's going through a different freight carrier than it is to Mike Brooks up in New York.
Yeah.
Or to, whoever's in Florida. And then knowing which companies are going to go that distance and not tear it up, not run a forklift through it. And they keep track of all that. So like when you order a bed floor, we crate it up. That's a $200 upcharge, but we know it's going to get to you.
Sure. Like Mike Losh just popped his open the other day, right? So Mike Losh just popped open a bed floor from AMD the other day, and we got to see that. And I got some glass for the Blazer. These guys shipped out some back glass for that back window, and it came, and it was very well protected. And again, those are those headaches where you do 5-10 minutes more on the front side. You're saving yourself hours and days and reputation, because people need to know, hey, when I order, I have confidence and I know the quality is going to be there.
Yeah. And that's, like with Mike, the first bed floor, he never showed that. First one tore up. Like they had scratches through it. Half of that crate was gone. And because we crated up, we were able to okay, let's ship him out another.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time, energy to get that bed floor in the best condition and produce the way we want it. We can't slack by the time we get it from now to Mike Losh.
Were you saying, and we're not going to mention who, but it was bought through you, the first one, and it just wasn't crated?
Yeah.
Or okay, so it was bought through you.
Yeah, our freight company that we shipped it, they dropped the ball somewhere along the line. I mean, granted, that crate is 500 pounds with a bed floor in it. But still, when we reshipped it, we went through another freight company to go to Mike.
Shipping is the hardest part for the audience to think about when you're buying and let's say you're wholesaling or you're buying from a company, and then you want to that's a hard part where you have to incorporate that cost. So having those, a lot of these companies, whether they're strategically throughout the country shipping parts, again, bring up Summit, I know that they're all over. I think Jegs is doing a pretty good job. We have a Speedway here, so we can go get it. But when you're looking for those specialty items, that's where, your local guy can help out quite a bit. But again, there's that balance. So when you look at C10 stuff, what would you say is the most popular when you're looking at Chevy GM stuff that you guys carry in your catalogs?
For us, the most popular platform is 67 to 72.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
I mean,
still.
That's still going to be your 68, 69 Camaro. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. I think that people will definitely always feel like there's an abundance of squares. I think there is. There's still a lot of, for us. Yep. One thing that I kind of crack up about that is it better to buy a truck, tear it down, or is it better to buy sheet metal? And people, we've had that discussion. Obviously, for you, it's better when they buy sheet metal. I feel like it's a balance. It's really, you almost have to talk to your paint and body guy. It's like, hey, do you want it now? Do you want it new? And do you want some fitment that you're going to work through? Right. Or do you want an old original cab that might be a little more better, but you're going to have to blast it. You're going to have some rust repair, and then you're going to have to figure out that level of balance. And it all comes down to, hey, what's your shop charging per hour? Is it 80? Is it 90? Right. Is it 100? And where do you want to incorporate that cost and that fee?
Yeah, that's one of the things I try to portray to people is like, it's a time versus money thing. Could you buy an entire door for your truck? It would cost you more. You're going to have a little more in shipping. You're still going to have fitments. Or you're going to patch it. You're going to do the rust repair on both the bottom, inside, outside, do it yourself. You might have $100 in parts where you might have 400 on a full door. It's a time versus money thing. And if guys doing a full build, Carl Marcoya, get you a full cab, get the whole thing right there, or find something you can either start with that's pristine, but then there's a whole nother issue of problems there's. What's underneath what you think is a good auction buy or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's always less than you think. It's and worse, right? For the most part, the statistically the percentage of oh my God, I just absolutely killed it and got so lucky is single digits versus this sucks. That's in the double digit type number. I think what happens is I always kind of look at it as the frame test. And what I mean by that is if me and my son sit down, he's 23, I'm 52, and I say, hey, well, let me give you a good joke. Okay, audience is going to love this. Two guys sitting on the hill. Hey, I can't say the joke. I'm not going to say it. Okay, so the bottom line is I'm going to say let's buy a new chassis and let's get it, blasted, powder coated, all the holes are filled, everything's, and he's going to say, I'm going to take this old chassis and I'm going to break it down and I'm going to do it the way I want it and I'm going to get that experience. Well, that's the best part is that you're going to get that experience. And then when you get old, you're not going to do it because it does come down to time, money, and headache. And you're like, hey, I might have hopefully a little bit more money to just go maybe buy that brand new chassis, call up the boys at Rev B, Roadster Shop, whoever, wherever. But the young guy is going to be like, nah, dude, I don't have that kind of coin. I have time on my side and I want to get the experience and I want to play around with that. So going back to that cab and that sheet metal and that door and so on and so forth is time is money. And I truly do feel like, unfortunately, some of the labor is outrunning the value that you can get. Hopefully most people, that's from a business perspective. Hopefully most people, they're doing it for a hobby. They're building their truck. Right. They're wanting that experience. Our girl Barbary, obviously I love her channel.
She's killing it.
Yeah. Just to see what she's doing at all times. And I feel like that's the true passion of getting that farm truck, that hand-me-down truck, that build, and whether you don't have necessarily as much time as you do money or money versus time, and you find that balance.
Right, yeah, and I think we show a lot of builders and high-end stuff on our social media platforms here and there, but the vast majority is guys like us that are building stuff in the garage. Barbary, 30 and 30. She's on her second one now. I think that's the vast majority of everybody out here.
Yeah, well, and it's entertaining to see and empower people and know that, we had the forum back in the day. You could get on, you can figure it out. There's really, guys at work I work with, I use as a litmus. I want a truck. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You can do it.
Yeah, you can.
It just takes a little time, a little patience, some money. You're going to learn, you're going to grow and have fun doing it. Grab your kid. The only thing I would say is grab your kid when they're 10, not 16, because you really don't have much control once they get the wheels and they're moving. Get them early and they'll have a little more pride in that and from that they did it and had that experience. So yeah, life's good. We're good. The C10 community, the Chevy truck community. So you guys are really pushing the platform. Obviously, the 6772 is your higher marker. You're selling more of those products. Do you have any new products in that genre that you're going to come out with? And are you guys ever going to, I don't even know, do you go much into the 60 to 66? I don't feel like you guys really do.
I carry a lot. We've got some of the parts for those trucks that we developed, like the big back window conversion.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Roof skin, hood. And then we... at AMD, we also carry what we call the X parts line. So it's restoration parts that are not developed by AMD, sourced out, but it's the best we can find for a solution for guys. And that's about 50-50 on that platform. I'm pushing for more because, I'm building my 66, but for the 6772, we've retooled the bed floors, the tubs, the bed sides. We did our new front bed panel. We talked about the cab parts. A lot of those that, as these tools kind of get used, they get a little slack. Like I just had last week the patch panel for the lower door jamb, like on the backside of the door jamb.
For 6772?
Yep.
Is it slopes
It's
up
a new
there?
product. And the one we had in stock, the definition in it wasn't there. So we had to retool it. And the new one's like spot on.
How often are you retooling? And, you know, going back to like I had Paul Hitch on back in the day, and he would say,
yeah,
hey, you know, these tools, you know, they get old and wore out. And after, you know, 7 years, you look at a body line or a style, we get rid of it because the tooling just gets so bad. Now, GM didn't get that message on the second gen of square bodies. They ran that damn truck for, you know, way too long, but nonetheless, we still have it. When does the tolerance and the adjustability, how does that work through? Like, hey, we keep a count meter on these things, and after they get this so much, we go back, we rebuild it, and then eventually we just have to retool it.
Yeah, I think it really varies depending on the part, the size of the tooling, the amount of pressure you have to use to make that quarter panel compared to a rocker panel, and the definition on it. So it varies based on what it is. And I'm hoping to bring a lot of light to that, you know, end of March, April, because we're planning to do a AMD, how it's made kind of thing straight from our production facilities in Taiwan.
Oh, that'd be awesome, just to kind of break through that. Do you,
Yep.
I assume you have a really good relationship with your, you know, let's call it 10 builders who can just call you and then listen and be like, hey, the tolerances are just getting a little too far on this, and then really have that feedback, and then really say, hey, okay, I'm getting a call from Ronnie. Ronnie's saying this is not within spec at all. It's not even close. Ship me another one. Let me check it out. All right. Ship me another one. Let me check it out. I've gotten 3 of these, like that product we talked about earlier that you took off the market. And then you just go back to the drawing board, or you make a couple calls. Hey guys, we need to tighten this tolerance.
That's exactly how it works. We'll get feedback from you. Then we'll go to the shelf, try it in an R&D facility. Are we getting the same kind of issue that you're having? Is it an us problem? Is it a you problem? I mean, it could work either way. We're not trying to say we're perfect, but we look at all aspects, and then what's it going to cost to fix it correctly? Can we get away with not offering the part at all? Retool it? It's a lot of aspects going to that.
Yeah, and for the audience to remind you, I had a guy, Keith Seymour, on, and they were building, he said at one point, a truck a minute. Let's just say it's a truck every 5 minutes. But he would say, you guys cracked me up. You got, you know, fender bolts and fender shims. And he's like, it was like, hey, Louie, add another fender shim. We think things should be so perfect. But when you break down a full truck, they're not gapped. A square body is not gapped. I mean, we look at the door gap to the fender gap, and they're not always perfect. It's almost funny how in the restoration world, you might be expected to have a better fitting part than the factory did.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And managing that expectation with our customers is really important, because they might look at, okay, I'm driving a 2018 Silverado. The 2018 Silverado is not going to fit and finish the same as a 72. And managing that expectation when they're putting on a hood or a fender or like square body where it meets the cowl and the door, and that it just never is the same. And then developing parts that work on your truck and my truck that aren't, you know, way out of whack is a challenge.
Oh my God. You know, some of these trucks are built Frankensteinish, where there's so many different, and again, the good of that we can build a truck out of a catalog can also be the bad. And when you're trying to get that fitment, and you definitely need a good paint and body and a patient person that can put all that together. And to expect anything other is probably ludicrous.
Right. Yeah, and then you look at like the guys that are working in body shops, or the old school guys that worked on these vehicles when they were new or newish, 10 years after release, doing the collision repair back in the day. They have a whole different aspect of how they repair this. They know that you need to use shims on this bottom part, and that's just part of the deal. But maybe a new collision guy wouldn't know that.
Well, they're not going to know that, and you know those old collision guys were probably using NOS parts as well. So we used to be able to call your local GM dealer, and there was NOS parts galore. At one point, I had heard that the square body parts, they had so many that when they started to really stock from a parts perspective, that there was bins of parts that were thrown away, because you think about a dealership, they don't have the real estate to have that much parts in that, you know, they eventually have to get rid of it. So whether they sell it, crush it, trash it, who knows the stories. I'm sure that there's at one point some warehouses that people had, and then really real estate gets crazy, right? So storage gets crazy, and you're like, hey, I'm spending this much a month on storing these parts that I'm not getting the VIG off this. What am I doing here? So I got to get rid of that and start putting you know, the almighty dollar is telling us what to do.
Right. Yeah. And like for AMD, we specifically try to avoid any NOS parts that are going to be part of development, because we've learned that more times than not, NOS parts were factory line rejects or
seconds.
Yes. And that inconsistency we don't want to start off of. We start from something that was on an actual vehicle. We pull it off that vehicle, check it for damages. We try to avoid NOS for development purposes at all costs.
Do you find that it's hard to find the high-end, really cream puff donor?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, because you've got to also look at it like, okay, if I'm developing Blazer stuff for a square body, do I necessarily need it to be rust-free? Not necessarily. Collision-free is more important than rust-free, but there's a line you got to run.
Well, I would think with the technology of scanning now that sure, some rust is merely interesting. The computer and the generation will figure out the computer generation will figure out where the line's going to be, and you can obviously probably go in there and manipulate that a little bit. But at the end of the day, the funny thing about a square body Blazer is the audience may not know, but there's so many different styles and levels, and you know when they changed, obviously 73 to 75's full top, half tops. Then you look at the floor and the kicks,
the longer floor, right?
Yeah. So a lot of different variances there, and then again a lot of the same parts. So a lot of you know different levels of. And again, remember, a Blazer is always birthed at, you know, was a truck for the most part. There's really. You know, you can look at the sheet metal and figure that out. So what's next for you guys when you look at the generations? What are you seeing that's going to be coming out in the next few years from the GM, you know, catalog line of trucks?
We're still pushing. Like if you're a listener and you're listening to this, you're going to see next couple of years a ton of OBS stuff. But in the background, we've got 99 to 06. We've got cat eye stuff, and then fulfilling our catalog with partners of all kind of stuff. You know, United Pacific, I loaded like 300 parts of theirs this morning. So it's going to be a lot going on, but the NBS is going to be probably the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the evolution, right? We could see it happening.
Yeah.
So knowing that you've got a full line of partners that you're working with, new, I mean, try and keep up, right? For the audience is like, there's so much going on. And I think to really, you know that you can get what you can get from AMD and keeping up with that. It seems like it's every day. I can't even imagine like what is a normal day? How does a day look like for you when you come into work? Does certain days have certain tasks, or is it a free-for-all, or how do you break down your week?
All right, if the boss is looking, it's not a free-for-all. It's total free-for-all.
Yeah.
Like this morning, you know, I've got all those UP carts. I'm loading the website. So anything you see on our website comes through this office. Product photography, description, SEO, part number, loading, pricing, all that stuff. And then putting it in our print catalog and making sure that's on the digital version. And then I'm calling Scott Mason, hey, I've got a new ad because we've got all these new parts. Rob, I'm sending those guys, here's the new AMD parts. Here's our new. It could be anything. And then keeping up with the social media, because I handle most all the like direct DMs and messages on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and having the support system with like Amanda doing all of our editing. She's pushing all the stuff up there and I'm scheduling. And a typical day is not typical, especially throw Eddie in there. Oh, he's got the new Death Star, just got a new truck, the trailer last year. Where's he going this weekend? He's got everything he need. So typical day is free for all.
Well, I can see where it starts out thinking that it's going to be, this is how I want my day to look, but it never ends up the way that it's perceived based upon just shit happening at all times.
Yeah, and as much as I love this, I try to turn it off. I come in early. I get here like 5 a.m. I usually leave 3 or 4 o'clock, go to see my wife and my daughter, and turning it off and still being, a good husband, a good father, and all that stuff. It's great.
Can you turn it off?
I love it.
You can turn it off?
It's a free for all.
Yeah. It seems like it'd be pretty hard. I like that you're saying that you're doing the best you can, and I think everybody does try to find that balance. But yeah, I think that's pretty legit. Where you're trying to the amount of hats that you have to wear at all times is just it seems like it's a lot.
It is a lot. Like Monday, I'm going down to Destin for an Armo Seaman Council long range planning. So trying to give back to that community, the restoration community. You get done what you can get done.
You talked a little bit about the catalog. Who does the final layout on that?
So I've got one dedicated catalog guy, Brian. He's been with me for 4-5 years. He's the main gateway between product coming in and in the catalog. And then Dan, you've seen him at shows. He is a key guy where he helps us do the exploded views. And we're taking actual product images and putting that in there where you guys can see, okay, this bracket goes to the core support and there's the grill and so on and so forth. So those two guys are my main catalog guys.
How often are you building a new catalog and getting it out? What would you say the cycle is?
We try to do it yearly. That's about where we've gotten to now. When we do an update, that could be twice a week. So we're pushing it to the website on the digital version. So the print, when it goes to print, is up to date as best we can be.
Well, like you said, you talked to Scott Mason, CK. You talked to Rob Fortier with Classic Truck Performance. So you've got a balance between social media, the print media, pushing things out, working with the catalog, and that alone is enough to probably keep you pretty busy, let alone everything else that you have going on. And then when you do have time, getting out, getting to a show, interacting with the people, and just finding that free-for-all balance.
Yeah, it is a lot, but I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like it's a lot of fun. You also have the freedom to be known that, hey, it's going to be a free-for-all, where some places it does look like it's a lot of fun. How about the planning of sitting down with Kevin and sitting down with influencers and coming up with, hey, we really have this new product. We want to start pushing this out. Let's talk about some of the media that we're going to put out. How does that meeting, look?
So something like that, we have, 6-month projection where I know that we've got these OBS interior pieces coming in. So I'm like, Kevin, hey, we need to find OBS truck. You want to come down here, come up to Tennessee. We'll do the whole how-to. We'll send it to Rob and in the Garage Media and just start flowing.
And getting it out.
Yep. And then we keep pushing for social media, it's just a snapshot of whoever's seeing it at that time. So like we did the 88 to 93 grills that had the correct OEM style bow tie insert. Really nice product. Released those probably 6 months ago. But now I'm working with Garen and the OBS Step Brothers. So I'm sending him one. Hey man, I want your honest opinion. I know you'll shoot it straight. We've got some stuff cooking. Take a look at this, put it in your truck, modify it how you want to. He's got some cool stuff for that. And then, working on those different angles. So it just really depends on the platform, the timing, who we're working with. But the main goals with like Harrison and Candy and Kevin Tate's, those are, long-term plans.
Yeah. And like you said, 6 months ahead of time and then getting it out and then having that plan and rolling it out. It's a lot. And you guys make it look, you make it look fresh, really, at the end of the day. I think the messaging is crisp. I think the catalog flows. I think that, we know that we're going to get high quality products. If for some reason there was something that we weren't, happy with, let us know type deal where, hey, we're reachable, we're attainable, we're part of this scene as well. And it's not like you, Eddie, Kevin, Candy, it's not like you guys aren't, not just selling the product, you're working with the product as well, and working with said influencers is part of it, to know like, hey, I'm not just some guy that's wearing a suit and tie that's making decisions based upon fitment. I'm that guy.
Yeah. We're at the end of the day, we're truck guys.
Yeah.
We want the truck community to do well. And if they do well, we do well.
Sure. So what's next? Give us a product that maybe, what's something that you would love to do or maybe get out, or something that's on the horizon that you can talk about? Obviously there's different things that you can't, but what would you say is something that you're when you think about 2026, hey, I'm pretty excited about this in 2026?
We are stoked to release the OBS bed floors. We're going to do a wide tub version and a factory version. And the wide tub version, I'll get the more details when it starts coming out. We're laying out some stuff. But if you wanted to do, a 10.5-inch wide wheel without modification, or without running a 4-link, those tubs would be a good go-to. And that's ones I'm really, really excited to see. We just test fit the prototypes on the bedsides. That was one we're talking. NOS, those have dried up. Crash, Collision, those guys, they're pretty much done making OBS bedsides. Mm-hmm. Now, we probably won't be first to market. There's no secrets in this industry. But we'll make sure those are right.
Yeah.
We just test fit them. They're looking good. I'm excited about the OBS bedsides and bed floor.
Yeah. So bedsides as well.
Yeah. We're going to do short bed first. They've got the long beds in development. I don't know if they'll.
Who's buying that?
Do them or not? Hey, it's
long bed Z71 guys. Maybe I just don't see a tool drive guy ever really wanting a long bed. I guess. Hey, to each his own.
Yeah, we're putting it out there and see what happens. Short beds, they look good. Long bed, we're waiting on prototypes. Let's see what happens.
All right. Well, you guys are doing a good job. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can run by you while I got you. I think you've got it covered. You've got the trucks covered. You've got the market covered. You've got great communication, great social media, great people that are behind it. So I think from our end, we're lucky to have AMD being such a big proponent of the trucks, the scene, And again, we're just so lucky to think that we have so many aftermarket companies that are out there. We have great participation and support from those companies. They're involved with the shows. They sponsor shows. They show up to shows, and they're involved. And to look back and think that you could get it any other way or any better would be foolish, really.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Now, let me ask you something.
Yeah, fire away. I like this.
What shows are we going to see Ronnie at in 2026 east of Texas?
So, east of Texas, the one show that I would love to get to that I haven't gotten to since they moved is, just because I love the guys, is obviously the C10 Fall Revival. The other show that I would love to get to, because I love the guys, is C10's in the City. And, anytime you can get behind the Cheese Man and Sarah and Robbie and what they do. Sits would be a good one. It seems like everything that goes on there. The biggest challenge that Ronnie has is 2 girls in college. So I think my wife is my daughter actually has a competition when you and I were starting. She's out in Daytona. So she was jumping this morning. She does pole vault. So managing her track schedule, and where she goes and the level that she's at, and then balancing flights. She's funny. The other day around Thanksgiving, she's like, "Is there something going on, Dad? Because there's a lot of trucks here, and I'm almost surprised you're not here." Well, it was the Daytona Turkey Run. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, man, I need to start planning my stuff around where she's at in Daytona, and then getting out to that side of the world and getting out there. The youngest, who's at U of A, not a lot of big change there for me to get down to Tucson and support her and visit truck shows. But yeah, the one show that obviously we've got the reunion coming up, the C10 Red Rock Retreat. I highly recommend that to everybody. That's one that I would like to drive to, but that's right when the pole vaulter. That's right when she's got like her finals championship rounds and stuff like that. So I always tell Chase, it might not be me driving, but it might be me jumping on a plane and getting there and getting out. So getting in, getting out. But that's kind of it. I mean, I love going to the shows. I love seeing the folks and recording from the shows, but you know how it is. It's just What's your favorite? I posted this on the Nation the other day. What would you say is your favorite? And I hate to even put you in this position, but how about this? What's a show, instead of putting you on the spot and asking you what your favorite show is, what's a show that you haven't attended that you would like to attend, and really why?
Oof. Man, okay, so one of my most anticipated shows that's really kind of up and coming, GM Truck Fair. Yeah. He does a really cool thing with the VIP Friday night, and then the Saturday show, cruise down, they shut down downtown, and it's growing. And to see the scholarship funds come full circle and have an intern at the show last year really is like, I want to see that get more attention. For shows I haven't been to, I mean, I really want to come check out Reunion. I want to check out Resurrection. I'm going to be there this year for Red Rock Retreat, so watch out. I'm flying in.
You're going to like it. It's pretty epic. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, and Chase does a great job when you talk about like what Harrison's doing for the intern and keeping the kids and the people influenced by what he's doing. When you look at what Chase is doing, he has a life-changing event in his life. Yep. He gives back to the search and rescue. He really cares. And just for the audience, one thing to know about Chase that's just running my own show and having to run back and forth, to think that he's doing a show that's not necessarily close to home, and you have to be really well prepared and know that you have the team and the people, and make sure that I've got all my zip ties and I've got everything I need and my mic set up and my awards. And there's a lot that goes into checklists to make sure you've got it all when you're not running a show that's, right next to home. So what he does by going from Salt Lake to Moab and running that is a big deal, and he does a great job. And I would like to say that I feel like we at the reunion have a really fun pre-party show. I don't think his will ever be beat. I just don't. His scenery, cool. The drive is I mean, it's not just first, it's beyond first. And so to be part of that and for you to come in and witness that and experience that, good on him and his crew. And then good for, I always tell people, I want you to come out. I want you to experience it, and I want you to experience it at the best level. But again, your baseline is your baseline. You can't like for us, we're moving to a different place this year. We'll see what continues to happen, but I want everybody to experience it how it was at the old parking garage and how things are new in Mesa, and you want everybody to experience that. Good thing for us, we have social media that allows people, not whether it's the reunion or the GM Truck Fair, whether it's C10s in the city, whether it's whatever show it is, sits. Social media does help with that and really influence people, and then the print coverage as well.
Yeah, and for us, when we're laying out our event schedule, there's a lot of events we need to go to. There's a lot of events we want to go, and the ones we want to go to are giving back. They're doing the right thing. They treat people right. It really aligns with our values. So doing Fall Revival and doing, Red Rock Retreat and all those things is really important to us. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Well, it's a big part of it, and it's kind of what makes our scene continue to really stand out in the community. And at the end of the day, the trucks are cool, but the people that give back are cooler, and I think that's a big part of it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We're working with this year, part of working with when you get a liquor license, you get a nonprofit. So we have a nonprofit that we're working with. Last year we had a nonprofit that we're working with. And it's really all you can do for us in the fire service. For me personally, Sam's wife's a cop. So you got the cop side on one end, you got the fire department on the other end, and giving back to the community is part of it. It's really the culture of who we are. And I think that like you guys, when you see that and you recognize that, it's part of the bigger picture.
Yeah. It's really important. I'm glad you guys are pushing that.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And again, we're so lucky to have such great people that are in our scene that give back. And for the audience, whether you're 5 years in this scene, whether you're 20 years in this scene, you've seen the evolution of a few shows to a lot more shows, smaller shows. We have some big ones, but you have a show in your area that you can go to, attend, and be part of that scene. And if you don't, and you feel like you don't have that option, please know that you do. Everybody wants to hear your story, talk to you about your truck, and we love, when we get, maybe it's a new kid, maybe it's an old guy that always wanted one. He's sitting there and he's afraid to kind of get in the mix. One thing I always love is you can have a $250,000 truck, 2 trucks over, a $20,000 truck, and the guys are going to break bread and beer and hang out and be like, dude, I love what you did with this. I love what you did with this. And that's what keeps the community going.
I love it. All
right, brother. Well, I think it's Friday. Let me see if I can't just I got to make a couple decisions on getting this out, but I'll keep you posted. Good to have you.
Ronnie, thanks, brother.
That's a wrap. 324. I told you, Jason's good peeps. I'm sure you guys have seen him out and about, maybe on social media, but having good people like that behind, the industry and being the face for AMD and kind of that connection when you have those companies that are making products for us and that, they're a click or an email or a direct message away. That helps, and we're in a unique time right now that we can do that, because you think back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have a direct line to these aftermarket companies. So, again, we appreciate what AMD is doing for our scene. And, Jason, as always, we appreciate your time. Thanks for sitting down with the C10 Nation and C10 Talk. Late.